Tonight's video is all about how I grow my own food and make money with a $65 garden. So I started gardening living in this apartment on my 6.5 foot by 3.5 foot deck about 16 years ago. Then I probably just was growing tomatoes. Tomatoes was the first thing that I learned how to grow. And then from tomatoes, it went to peppers and tomatoes. And then I tried potatoes and then green beans. And then I've always grown herbs and flowers and roses. So when we had our own house, when we rented a house, we had a large garden in the backyard and grew basically the same thing: herbs, potatoes, tomatoes, peppers, sweet corn, and stuff like that. And then at the end of the season, we would go ahead and back then tilling was a big thing, so we would till up our garden and then plant a winter crop. So that our garden didn't erode or wash away, or all the different reasons people plant winter crops, and definitely so that it retained its nourishment and its moisture. And then in the spring we would till it, or sometimes we would just hoe it back up again and plant our garden anew. Since we've moved in here, what I do is I start seeds in the back room underneath the grow light for tomatoes and some of my herbs and peppers. Generally it doesn't work out, but I think that the experience, doing it and learning how to do it and seeing your failures and your successes is just is vitally important. More important than not doing it because you don't think that it's going to work, or continuing not to do it because it didn't work once. I've changed out grow lights a couple of times, the position of where my seedlings are and stuff like that. I've had both successes and failures, but I still continue to plant seedlings and see how far they get. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of ventilation in the office, and I couldn't have them any other place because a cat would eat them. And aside from that, the light that comes in that window is north-facing light, which is only just a very, very short time during the day. And then the grow light can't, no matter what grow light you have, it just doesn't do everything for your little seedlings. And that they end up getting very leggy, reaching for light, reaching for sun, and then they're no good anymore. So, but I still do it for the experience of doing it every year. And like I said, last year I did it, and I had 3 successful tomato plants and 2 successful pepper plants from doing it. So I was thrilled. I do set up my garden little by little. It's generally done by the end of May, all set up on the porch. It's all ready to go. My seedlings have grown up so they can be transplanted. I bought starter plants. I filled up my pots. I have nourished my roses and strengthened everything for any early or late spring, early summer winds. I put I do worm castings on all of my plants, and we're ready to go. And my garden has generally cost me $65 or less. Now, keep in mind, I've always had pots from previous gardens and previous container gardens. I've always had my pots. So you have to have an initial investment of buying containers. If you just want to grow the herbs or smaller plants in the containers that you get from the store, by all means do that. I would just top it off with some nourishing soil or worm castings or something like that, because oftentimes that soil that you get in the pot from the store is not nourishing whatsoever. If it's root bound in that, I would definitely replant the pot or replant the plant in a different pot, because a root bound plant is not going to give you anything at all during the season, and it's probably going to die off fairly early, especially with sun. So I went and entered a master gardener program years ago, and went through the different courses and took the test, and then did the volunteer hours and became what is known and still known to this day as a master gardener. Now, with that comes responsibility. Every year I have to take myself and donate myself or volunteer myself to a certain to the people in my community that are looking, and mostly it's to the younger people or to school students or to garden clubs or clubs in that want to learn how to garden or want to learn how to garden a particular thing. Then I lend myself, because it's part of the Master Gardener program that you volunteer X amount of hours every year. usually I end up putting in about 150, way more than is expected, teaching people how to garden or answering questions about gardening, and I enjoy it and I love it. I took extra courses beyond the Master Gardener program um, at a local community college, and the emphasis was on how to grow a garden in extreme temperatures or drought. So that is kind of my expertise, what I've learned and what I've been doing for the last 12 years. So you can buy drought-resistant plants. You can buy heat-resistant plants, but there's not an awful lot of them out there. Or you can take courses or read books on how to grow your own food under I say duress on our deck, in that it gets up to 113 or 120 degrees, and going out and watering your plant because you think watering it and that is going to help it or whatever. Different times of the day, if you water your garden, water your plants, you can actually harm your garden and harm your plants. So you have to be really careful. I always recommend renting books or buying books or watching movies or going to the library or talking to a master gardener or going to your extension office if you want to learn how to take care of plants in extreme weather. Because that's what I've learned how to do, and every season I do teach at least a dozen people also how to grow under extreme conditions. So without further ado, my $65 garden every year requires about 16 quarts of soil. I buy the cheapest, I'll have it in the show notes, one of the cheapest 8-quart bags at Walmart, and I make sure that all my containers are clean. I put clean soil in it. I plant the plant. I water it down good. And then after about 2 weeks, I use worm castings. And I do that 2 or 3 times throughout the season. At the end of the season of gardening, obviously, all my container pots are any of the plants or stuff like that are removed and composted. All the soil that were in my container pots are emptied out, and I have a friend that comes by and gets 2 wheelbarrow loads full of my soil and full of the composted plants and stuff, and takes it away to their garden. So I don't put any type of fertilizers or any sprays or chemicals or anything like that in my soil. So he's happy to take my soil from me so that I don't have to dispose of it. It can be used again, and then every season I take those clean pots out of my garage and pot them up again. So that soil cost me $19.98, and the worm castings, the ones that I've always purchased this year, are actually $24. So I'm going to go with the next brand. I'll put that in the show notes as well. It's one of the cheapest brands on Amazon right now, but it's one of the highest rated. So I buy 2. I'm going to be buying 2 bags at $9.99. Normally I only have to buy 1 bag, but these are smaller bags. And so that's on Amazon. So my soil is at Walmart. I'll have it in the description. My worm castings that are Amazon, I'll have that in the description. And then I lay out my garden as so. I walk out the door here, and I have 3 tomatoes against a wall. Generally, all of these tomatoes get to be 6 or 7 feet tall. And then to this side of the door, I have my 5 roses. I used to grow David Austin roses really well, but they continue to send me roses that did poorly. So I buy my roses now at Aldi and Walmart, and they do fabulous. I usually have a vine plant on this end of the deck. So last year I had cucumbers, but I have grown squash and pumpkins, you name it. And so then the vine plant can grow back. Or you can start it down here and it can grow forward, but I like it the other way. So then I have my pepper plant, usually 1 or 2 here. My bird feeders are over here, but they're usually come to an end in the summertime, and then we just feed down below in the marsh area. I always have 2 big rosemary plants, generally from seed, from starter plants. My lettuce is from starter, my chards from starter, all of my herbs are from starter, and there's my tomatoes again. And that is my 3.5 foot by 6.5 foot deck. And that is that. Production last year, I got 16 peppers on 1 plant, 102 cherry tomatoes on one of my tomato plants. Between the other 2 tomato plants, I got 22 slicing tomatoes. They were Rutgers. I got 3 bunches of rosemary, a bunch of dill, thyme, basil, and oregano. I had 6 harvests of chard, 1.5 pounds of spinach, 2 3/4 of lettuce, 2 cucumbers that I grew. I sold some borage. The local restaurant was looking on Facebook Marketplace for borage. I sold it for $32, everything that I harvested. Nasturtiums, I also sold that for $12 to the same local restaurant. I grew 2 beets, 6 carrots, 2 pounds of green beans, 1.5 pounds of peas. I was able to get a large sweet pea bouquet. I love flowers. 10 small red potatoes, 3 bouquets of roses. I grew sunflowers, zinnias, and purple coneflower for the bees. So that's my production. Again, $65. I have a small deck, but I'm learning how to grow everything, and that type of experience is priceless. And I'm also growing food that I'm actually eating, and I'm also giving some of it away and selling some of it. So I'm not only growing my own food, I'm making money from growing my small garden. One of the things that I do go out and do if my tomato starts, pepper starts don't work, and often they don't, and sometimes my rosemary seeds don't work and the starter plants don't work, is I do buy, and I try to go for $4.96 and under, 4 to 6 tomato starts. Usually out of the tomato plants, only 3 of them will survive. I generally buy 2 pepper starts, and oftentimes both of them will survive, and then 2 rosemary, and both of them always survive. One usually does better than the other. So that is my $65 garden. I always tell everybody that I teach or come in contact with during the growing season, just start somewhere. I've grown herbs and stuff like that on windowsills. I've had it in front porches, back porches, on my kitchen counter. I had an herb garden with a grow light. I start plants in an office that's crammed with books and has north-facing sun, and I still manage to do it. And I moved into an 1,100 square foot apartment with an old raggedy deck that I feed birds off of 6 months out of the year, and it's 3.5 by 6.5, and I've grown everything and taken pictures of it and made videos of it. And I was even at one time kind of a local sports spokeswoman for one of the very popular fertilizers, because I use their fertilizers and their compost teas and stuff like that, and my garden was featured in one of their pamphlets. So, I mean, just start someplace, learn how to grow your own food, and eventually, whether it's through growing your own food or buying a home and having a large garden, you're doing something that's therapeutic. You could be teaching other people how to grow their food. You're saving money. I mean, it's just inspiring to be able to, and tasty and beneficial to be able to grow your own vegetables and that, and serve them to your family, serve them to yourself, share some with your neighbors, and then, like in my case, a local restaurant wants something that you grew and they're willing to pay you for it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more videos about my garden, please leave it in the comment section. I appreciate you being here. If you're putting in a garden, or if you're growing something this year, even a pot of herbs on your kitchen counter, leave that in the comments as well. And before I go, I want to thank 2 of my friends of the channel for sending me cards recently. Again, I don't know what I did in my life to ever deserve friends, the type of friends, the wonderful friends that I have here through my channel. It's one of the main reasons why I'm so thrilled and happy that I started a channel. And it's definitely one of the top 2 reasons why I continue, is because I have wonderful friends. I have wonderful people in the comment section, people that have been supportive towards me and kind towards me since I started my channel, and definitely in the last year. So I don't know what I would have done without any of you. So I thank you, and I thank my friends that sent me this cute little card. Even has an orange kitty, and another friend that sent me this beautiful teacup card. Both beautiful cards, both beautiful messages in it, very thoughtful, very generous, and very kind. And I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Thank you for joining me here every week. Until my next video, and I don't know if I should name names, so I won't, just for your privacy and stuff like that. But if you do send something and you're okay with me mentioning names, please let me know when you do send something and that, because I'll be more than happy to mention your name. I'm just not sure if I should do it and go against, your privacy wishes. But again, thank you so much. And thank you for joining me here every week for my videos. Until next time, be safe, be warm, or stay cool, and I'll talk to you again.